In the early 20th century, when much of Africa was still under colonial rule, a young man from the Gold Coast dared to imagine something bold. Not just independence for his country, but freedom and unity for the entire African continent. His name was Kwame Nkrumah, born in 1909 in Nkroful, in what was then the British colony of the Gold Coast. Nkrumah grew up under foreign rule. He saw how Africans were treated in their own land, governed by outsiders, exploited economically and denied political power. But instead of accepting this reality, he chose education as his weapon. Nkrumah traveled abroad, studying in the United States and later in Britain. During his years overseas, he was influenced by ideas of black empowerment, Pan-Africanism and self-determination. He believed Africa's future could not depend on Europe. Africans, he said, must control their own destiny. When he returned home in the late 1940s, the political atmosphere was changing. Nationalist movements were growing stronger. Nkrumah quickly became a leading voice for independence. Charismatic and fearless, he spoke directly to workers, farmers and young people. He promised freedom, not tomorrow, but now. In 1949, he formed the Convention People's Party and launched a campaign of positive action. Strikes, protests, and civil resistance aimed at ending British rule. His activism led to imprisonment, but it only increased his popularity. While still in jail, he won a major election victory. The people had spoken. On March 6, 1957, history was made. The Gold Coast became Ghana, the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule. Standing before a massive crowd in Accra, Nkrumah declared that Ghana's independence was meaningless unless it was linked to the total liberation of Africa. Now Prime Minister and later President, Nkrumah dreamed bigger than national borders. He wanted a united Africa, a single continent working together politically and economically. In 1963, he helped establish the Organization of African Unity in Addis Ababa, hoping it would become the foundation of continental unity. But dreams are difficult to maintain. At home, economic challenges began to grow. Ghana relied heavily on cocoa exports, and falling global prices hurt the economy. Large development projects, though ambitious, strained national finances. Critics accused Nkrumah of becoming increasingly authoritarian. Opposition voices were silenced. Political tension increased. Some began to question whether the liberator was becoming too powerful. In February 1966, while Nkrumah was on a peace mission abroad, the military staged a coup. His government was overthrown. The man who led Ghana to freedom was suddenly exiled, far from the nation he helped create. He would never return to power. Nkrumah spent his final years in Guinea, reflecting on Africa's unfinished struggle for unity. He died in 1972, but his ideas did not die with him. Across the continent, leaders and young activists still speak of Pan-Africanism. The African Union today traces its roots back to the organization he helped create. Kwame Nkrumah rose as a symbol of hope, a man who believed Africa could stand tall and united. His fall reminds us that leadership is complex and power can both build and divide. Yet one truth remains: without Nkrumah, the story of African independence would not be the same. He was not just Ghana's first leader. He was the dreamer who dared to imagine one Africa. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more untold history stories.